Have you ever dreamed of speaking English confidently? What if you could go from feeling invisible to being heard in every conversation? Today on Easy English Official, we'll share an inspiring real-life journey of someone who started from zero and became fluent. You'll discover practical tips, motivation, and proof that consistent effort can unlock your full potential. His name is Carlos. His story begins with just a few words of English and a life lived in silence. Imagine a crowded cafe, the low murmur of voices, and one man struggling to be understood. Please. I want coffee. 1. Black. A different, impatient voice cuts in, a what? A latte? Just say what you want, man, there's a line. The first voice, now small and filled with shame, sorry. No, just coffee. This was Carlos's reality. But this is not a story about failure. This is the story of how learning English didn't just change his life. It gave him a voice, a future, and the confidence to become a hero in his own life. On Easy English Official, we'll show you how even the smallest words can open the biggest doors. Section 1. The problem, the silent arrival. Easy English Official invites you to explore the inspiring journey of people who started learning English from zero, and Carlos's story is a powerful one. He arrived in a new country carrying his civil engineering degree and a heart full of hope. Everything felt unfamiliar, from the sounds in the streets to the voices on the bus. Every day brought a new challenge. Understanding English seemed impossible at first. The first week was the hardest. Announcements, signs, and conversations swirled around him like an unbroken code. He felt invisible and lost. Yet, he reminded himself that every expert was once a beginner. Learning English was not just a skill, it was survival. Carlos remembered the life he left behind. In his home country, he was respected and successful. Here, he couldn't even ask where the nearest grocery store was. His achievements didn't translate to a new language. The frustration was real, but he refused to give up. Finding a job was a bigger hurdle than he expected. Every position required excellent communication skills. He applied to engineering roles, but rejection emails piled up. It was a reminder that English was more than words, it was a gateway. Eventually, he took the only opportunity available, a janitor's night shift in an office building. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a start. The silence of empty offices became his classroom. Cleaning floors taught him patience and focus. At night, he walked alone through quiet hallways, thinking about his dreams. He missed conversations he could not follow. He missed the life he had imagined. Yet, he realized that small steps build big changes. Every night became practice. While others slept, Carlos listened to English podcasts quietly. He repeated words, tried sentences, and kept a notebook. The loneliness became motivation rather than despair. He discovered that failure was a teacher. Every misunderstanding at work or in stores taught him something new. Mistakes were no longer embarrassing, they were necessary. Growth comes from action, not comfort. Carlos began to notice subtle progress. He understood more announcements. He recognized some words on signs. Even a small smile or nod from a coworker felt like victory. These tiny successes built his confidence. He also connected with other learners online. Sharing experiences, practicing simple phrases, and celebrating small wins created community. Learning English became less lonely. Support was available everywhere if he looked. By the end of the first month, Carlos had a new rhythm. English was still challenging, but fear had lessened. The silence that once overwhelmed him now held opportunity. Every small effort carried him closer to his goal. This beginning was quiet but essential. Every learner faces a similar path. Starting from zero is not failure, it is the foundation of future success. Carlos's journey proves that determination and daily practice turn dreams into reality. Section 2. The Agitation. A Life in the Shadows. Months passed, and loneliness weighed heavily on Carlos. He watched people laugh, share stories, and connect effortlessly. He felt invisible in these moments. Yet, deep inside, he knew this isolation could ignite his motivation. Everyday life presented constant challenges. A simple visit to the dentist turned into a nightmare. Questions from the receptionist made his practiced words vanish. He could only point and nod, feeling small and helpless. Communication was no longer optional. It was survival. One day at the supermarket, he hesitated at the meat counter. Fear held him back from speaking. He waited, heart racing, hoping the butcher would guess his choice. He ended up pointing at ground beef and left, frustrated. Small failures piled up, shaping his journey. These struggles were lessons in disguise. Each awkward interaction became a stepping stone. The pain of misunderstanding highlighted the value of progress. Success would not feel trivial, it would feel earned. Carlos observed ordinary family moments with a mix of envy and longing. A father tying his daughter's shoelace, listening patiently to her chatter, struck him deeply. He realized he had no one to share such moments with. Loneliness wasn't just emotional, it was practical and social. Phone calls home offered no relief. He could not confess that his successful past meant nothing in this new world. Cleaning toilets for a living left him feeling invisible and lost. This hidden despair fueled an internal fire he didn't yet understand. He began to see his life as a series of shadows. Walking alone through streets, he noticed every laugh and conversation he could not join. The silence followed him home. Each night reinforced the importance of finding a personal reason to persevere. Motivation became his anchor. He imagined a future he did not want, an older man, still silent, still isolated. This vision was painful, but necessary. Pain often guides change when clarity is absent. Carlos realized the power of choice. Each day, he could surrender to loneliness or fight for his voice. Learning English was not a hobby, it was a lifeline. His resolve hardened with each passing day. He found tiny victories in practice. Listening to English podcasts, repeating phrases, and writing words became his secret ritual. Every sentence learned was a brick in building his confidence. Progress was slow, but visible. Connections with fellow learners online brought encouragement. Shared experiences transformed fear into curiosity. Learning became interactive, social, and fun. He discovered that no one is truly alone if they seek support. By the end of this turning point, Carlos understood a vital truth: struggle makes growth meaningful. His despair had shifted into determination. No longer a ghost in the world, he embraced every small step, ready to build a voice that would carry him forward. Section 3. The Solution. The First Word and the Long Road. Carlos woke up the next day with a renewed sense of purpose. His tiny apartment transformed into a personal classroom. He had no money for fancy courses, but he had determination, resourcefulness, and the city itself. Every small action counted toward fluency. His first stop was the public library. He headed straight to the children's section. An adult engineer reading picture books may seem unusual, but he knew every tiny success builds confidence. He checked out a small stack of books and began his quiet work, embracing each word learned. Consistency became his secret weapon. He turned mundane moments into learning opportunities. The 45-minute bus ride became a reading session. Lunch breaks turned into vocabulary practice. Every day, he aimed to learn 10 new words, starting with simple items like floor, desk, and chair. Slow progress was still progress. Phase 1, the foundation. Carlos memorized the 100 most common English words until they felt natural. 2 months of daily practice gave him a small but solid vocabulary. This was the base he needed to move forward. Phase 2, active immersion. He changed his phone language to English and switched all entertainment to English as well. Watching sitcoms with subtitles in his own language, then English, and eventually none at all, trained both his eyes and ears. Listening to English podcasts on his commute further strengthened his comprehension. Phase 3, the confidence barrier. Carlos now had words in his head, but speaking them aloud was terrifying. Mistakes were natural, but each one was a lesson. He discovered a free English conversation circle and forced himself to attend. The first few weeks were frightening, but he persisted. The turning point came during his 4th week. Standing in front of other learners, he stammered, introducing himself, "My name, Carlos. I am, engineer. I, clean." Instead of judgment, he received warm encouragement. The volunteer leader, Sarah, welcomed him, and a safe space was created for growth. He practiced shadowing, mimicking native speakers from YouTube clips. Each day, he set small challenges, ordering coffee, asking the cashier about their day, or complimenting a stranger. Every successful interaction reinforced his confidence. The fear of speaking didn't disappear overnight. But Carlos was now in control. Small victories built momentum, and the once daunting world of communication started feeling accessible. He realized progress wasn't about perfection, but consistent effort. His journey highlighted the importance of community. Learning alone is slow, but shared experiences accelerate growth. Mistakes became proof of effort, and daily actions turned into stepping stones toward fluency. Carlos's story shows that structured methods combined with supportive communities unlock potential. Fear is a wall for most learners, but stepping through it leads to real transformation. Persistence and small daily habits are key. From reading picture books to confidently conversing, Carlos's path illustrates that success is achievable for anyone willing to take consistent, intentional steps. Every word learned, every sentence spoken, brought him closer to his goals and his dream professional life. Section 4. The Transformation. A new life, a new voice. A year and a half had passed, and Carlos was no longer the same person. He was still a janitor by job title, but inside, he felt like an engineer in training. Everything he had done to learn English was about to pay off. He spent a month perfecting his resume with help from Sarah, his conversation group leader. Each word and sentence highlighted his dedication and growth. Then, he applied for a junior engineering assistant position. To his surprise, he got an interview invitation. Preparation became a ritual. In front of the mirror, he practiced common questions and answers. He wasn't just translating, he was thinking in English. Confidence was slowly replacing fear, and every practice made him stronger. On the day of the interview, old nerves returned. But this time, he carried a new voice, one shaped by months of persistent effort and small victories. He could feel it in every word he spoke. The interviewers asked about his resume, and he spoke honestly. For 2 years, my main job was cleaning. But my full-time job was learning English. I worked nights and studied days. I needed the language to return to engineering, and I am not afraid of hard work. His courage shone through. Their expressions changed as technical questions followed. He answered clearly, and though his English wasn't perfect, his engineering knowledge was undeniable. In that moment, he felt like the professional he had always been in his heart. 2 days later, the job offer arrived. Standing alone in his small apartment, tears of victory streamed down his face. All those silent nights and struggles had led to this moment. Walking into the office on his first day was surreal. The building he had once cleaned now welcomed him as a professional. With his own keycard and desk, he finally felt ownership of his life. When a colleague asked if he wanted coffee, he smiled and said, "Yes, please. Black is perfect." "Thanks, Mark." A simple exchange, but a symbol of triumph. Small victories accumulated into a powerful transformation. His life began to flourish. Promotions came quickly, fueled by his unlocked skills. He was no longer invisible. His confidence allowed him to contribute ideas and take initiative. Personal life improved as well. He made real friends, understood jokes, and shared stories. Joining a hiking club brought a sense of community he never imagined. Each day felt full and alive. Finally, he could call his parents and tell them the truth about his life. The ghost they had once worried about was gone. Carlos had a new life, a new voice, and a future filled with possibility. Carlos's journey from a life in the shadows to a career he loved proves that amazing things happen when you refuse to give up. The lessons are simple but powerful: start small, stay consistent, and never underestimate the impact of daily effort. Even children's books and a few minutes a day can lay the foundation for fluency. Immersing yourself completely transforms learning. Turn your phone, your commute, and your home into classrooms. Watch, listen, repeat, and speak. Mistakes are not failures, they are proof that you are trying. Facing your fear of speaking is the single most important step to bring a language to life. And always keep your why close. It will drive you forward when progress feels slow. Today, Carlos is a project manager at the same company where he once cleaned offices. He welcomes every new teammate, ensuring they feel seen and heard. If this story inspired you, hit subscribe and join Easy English Official. Share your challenges in the comments, take your first step today, and start building your own story. Your fluency is closer than you think, and your journey begins now.